What is up, everybody? It's your girl Rhys here, aka Diamond, and I'm here for another video. Today we're going to be talking about all of the books that I must read this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not that many, but these are definitely must reads. I don't do TBRs. I am a very moody reader, and you'll see when we get to the list of books how moody I am, because some of them I have started before. But yeah, that's all. I just want to talk about the books that I have to get to this year, that I actually really want to get to this year, and I know they will be a part of making my reading year a wonderful reading year. But first, if this is your first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, my name is Diamond, aka Jaded Rhys, and on this channel I like to talk about books. I like to make videos about books, book reviews, reading vlogs, and everything in between. So if you like that type of content, and if you like my personality, I think you should subscribe to my channel and we can be friends. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and move on into the video. I'm gonna actually sit this on my necklace. Yeah. All right, so the first book that is a must read for me, if you watched my 2023 favorite books, it is no surprise that I have to read Home, which is the second installment of the Gilead trilogy. Or is it a quartet? I think it's a quartet. But either way, this is the second installment of that trilogy, of that series, and it is Home. And yeah, Gilead was my favorite book of the year. It was my top read of the year. I absolutely love that book. Reverend John Ames has a special place in my heart, and I'm really interested to see what's going on with Jack as well, which that's what the book ends off on. So let's go ahead and read what it's about. Hailed as incandescent, magnificent, and a literary miracle, hundreds of thousands of readers were enthralled by Marilynne Robinson's Gilead. Now Robinson returns with the brilliantly imagined retelling of the prodigal son parable, set at the same moment and in the same Iowa town as Gilead. The Reverend Bolton's hell-raising son, Jack. Reverend Bolton is Reverend John Ames' best friend, and Jack is named after John Ames because John Ames didn't have a son up until late in life, and so he thought he was going to die without a son, so they named Bolton named his first son after Reverend John Ames. So here, hell-raising, okay, the Reverend Bolton's hell-raising son Jack has come home after 20 years away. Artful and devious in his youth, now an alcoholic carrying 2 decades worth of secrets, he is perpetually at odds with his traditionalist father, though he remains his most beloved child. As Jack tries to make peace with his father, he begins to forge an intense bond with his sister Glory, herself returning home with a broken heart and turbulent past. Home is a luminous and healing book about family secrets, and faith from one of America's most beloved and acclaimed authors. I'm excited! I'm so excited about this, y'all. I'm not gonna read it yet, but like I said, this is gonna be a part of my year, and it's a must read. Let me just take a little sip of my drink. Cheers. So next, this is a part of my moodiness. We have Circe by Madeline Miller. Madeline Miller is the author of one of my absolute favorite books from 2022. It was called The Song of Achilles. I absolutely loved that book. I love that book. Actually, that was 2021. See how long ago that was? But anyway, get this. Girl, I actually bought this book first. I bought this book before I bought The Song of Achilles, and then I read it. I tried to read it. As you can see, it's so thick. Hold on. It's so thick. Look at the tabs. Look at the tabs. I bought this book in 2020 during COVID-19. When was it? Hold on. And this is where I stopped at. Let's see. Hold on. I got memories in here. I have a receipt in here. Let's see the date on this receipt. To that March 8th. Okay, I bought it in 2021. Maybe not, maybe before then. March 8th, 2021 is the last time I've had this book open. And there's also a card in here from Miss Tara Taylor. Hey, Miss Taylor. And I didn't get far. I stopped on page 17, as you guys can see. So Circe is on the list. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't anything to me because I didn't get far enough. But we're going to read it. We are going to read this year. I have to read it. It's been on my shelf for far too long. And yeah, so if you don't know, let's read the jacket about Circe. In the house of Helios, god of the sun and mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Circe is a strange child, not obviously powerful like her father, nor viciously alluring like her mother. Turning to the world of mortals for companionship, she discovers that she does possess power, the power of witchcraft, which can transform rivals into monsters and menace the gods themselves. Threatened, Zeus banishes her to a deserted island where she hones her occult craft, tames wild beasts, and crosses paths with many of the most famous figures in all of mythology, including the Minotaur, Daedalus, and his doomed son, Icarus, the murderous Medea, the murderous Medea, and of course, Wily Odysseus. But there is danger too for a woman who stands alone, and Circe unwittingly draws the wrath of both men and gods, ultimately finding herself pitted against one of the most terrifying and vengeful of the Olympians. To protect what she loves most, Circe must summon all her strength and choose once and for all whether she belongs with the gods she is born from or mortals she has come to love. With unforgettable, vivid characters, mesmerizing language, and page-turning suspense, Circe is a triumph of storytelling, an intoxicating epic of family rivalry, palace intrigue, love and loss, as well as a celebration of indomitable female strength in a man's world. Okay. All right, so it's giving badass, okay? So, at the time that I bought this book, I was younger. Girl, let's see, 2021. I was 28 years old. So I bought this in 2020. I don't care what that receipt say. I bought this in 2020, I think. Let's see, when was it published? Let me take this out because I'm gonna just start it over. I used to save my pages with paper pens. Yeah, it was published in 2018. Girl, I bought this in 2020. So yeah, it's been 4 years. It'll be 4 years. I gotta read this book. So we're gonna read this year. These are some good books on the list. I'm excited. All right, so the next book that I'm going to be tackling this year is going to be The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I definitely tried to read this novel in 2022. I got right here, I was in a marathon. Look at that, look at that, look at that. And I used it as a placeholder. I stopped on chapter 11. And honestly, I just think I don't know. It was the summertime. The summertime stops me from reading a lot of stuff. Honestly, like, depending on what I have going on in the summertime, that is the deciding factor for how my reading is going to go. So I just think that I just wasn't supposed to read it then. So it's by Dostoevsky. It's translated by Constance Garrett, and I like the translation. And I honestly, since not reading this book anymore, it has constantly been on my mind. I'm not joking, I'm not lying, I have no reason to lie. I've been thinking about this book since I stopped reading it. And so I honestly think I'll start tackling it sometime soon. This, hold on. This translation has, let's see, it's just under 600 pages. And as you guys saw, if you watched my favorite books of 2024, I read the Selena's Valley, girl. I read East of Eden and it was a breeze. So I do think that we are going to enjoy this. So this is about Prince Myshkin. Let's read. So the story begins when Myshkin arrives on Russian soil after a stay in a Swiss sanatorium. Scorned by St. Petersburg society as an idiot for his generosity and innocence, the prince finds himself at the center of struggle between a rich, kept woman and a beautiful, virtuous girl who both hope to win his affection. Unfortunately, Myshkin's very goodness seems to bring disaster to all he meets, leading to a shocking denouncement that tragically reveals how, in a world obsessed with money, power, and sexual conquest, a sanatorium is the only place for a saint. So I'm excited. It was gorgeous writing when I was reading it. I have some really nice passages underlined. For example, here I put, I must tell you, Gavril Mushkin said suddenly that I was once so ill that I really was almost an idiot. But I've gotten over that long ago. And so I rather dislike it when people call me an idiot to my face. See the right, like, come on. This is gonna be a good one. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good one. Next up we have Those Who Leave and Those Who Stay by Miss Elena Ferrante. This is going to be my 4th Ferrante, and I'm really excited to start it. It's just gonna continue to follow Leela and Elena and their story after the last book that I read in the series, which was The Story of a New Name. I don't want to talk too much about it because there's still a wide variety of those who have not experienced My Brilliant Friend and The Story of a New Name, but just know that this is the 3rd installment of the epic quartet that everyone so now knows and loves. And yeah, we're gonna be reading her this year. Okay, then we have another book that I started, and I got to part 3. I remember I don't have my what's the name in there, but it is The Corrections by Jonnathan Franzen in this beautiful, stunning Matchbox edition. I am so proud of this. When I found this, I think I paid $3 for this. I paid $3 for this at my favorite secondhand bookstore here in Memphis, Tennessee. I had to get it, and I read through. So I got to, and I was enjoying it, to be quite honest with you. If you've read The Corrections, tell me about it. Tell me how you liked it. But I got to the part about the brother. The brother, there's 2 brothers in this story. One of the brothers is married. I got to his part. Yeah. So I'm thinking I'll just start it fresh. We shall see. But let's go ahead and read what it's about. So it says, after 50 years as a wife and mother, Enid Lambert is ready to have some fun. Unfortunately, her husband Alfred is losing his sanity, and their children have long since fled for the catastrophes of their own lives. As Alfred's condition worsens, and the Lamberts are forced to face their secrets and failures, Enid sets her heart on one last family Christmas. Bringing the old world of civic virtue and sexual inhibition into violent collision with the era of hands-off parenting, do-it-yourself mental health care, and globalized greed, The Corrections established Jonnathan Franzen as one of the most brilliant interpreters of the American soul. And I will say, yeah, I enjoyed this thoroughly. I truly don't remember why I stopped reading it. I just don't remember. So yeah, that's another one I'm excited about. And I did my hair. I did my hair today. I think it's so cute. So moving on to Shuggie Bain. This was a book that I was supposed to read this fall, but guess what? We're gonna read it this year. So Shuggie Bain is the 2020 winner. He actually, this was a long listed copy, but he actually won the Man Booker Prize in 2020. Everybody was reading it. I did not read it. I actually just obtained this copy in October, in September or October. So yeah, and I bought it secondhand, as I buy a lot of my books secondhand. Only a few are brand new. So yeah, anyway, Shuggie Bain. Shuggie Bain is the unforgettable story of Hugh Shuggie Bain, a sweet and lonely boy who spends his 1980s childhood in rundown public housing in Glasgow, Scotland, taking care of his beloved mother, Agnes. Agnes is a proud, beautiful woman. She turns herself out like her idol Elizabeth Taylor, but she's an alcoholic and spends most of the family's weekly benefits money on extra strong lager and bottles of vodka. A heartbreaking story of addiction, sexuality, and love, Shuggie Bain is an epic portrayal of a working class family and a queer childhood from a masterful novelist, one of the most talented debut writers of recent years. So I've not started this at all, and I'm excited to read it sometime this year. It's gonna be great. Hopefully not as heartbreaking as A Little Life. All right, so next we have Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita. I actually recently just found a beautiful copy of Panin, but it's not a must read this year. I've had Lolita for a couple of years now, and I'm hearing about what everyone feels about it. I want to read it for myself and interpret what I feel like Herbert is in the novel. Of course, he's what he is, but I've listened to so many like different perspectives on what he's doing or what Vladimir's doing in this book. I just want to get a taste of it for myself and read about it on my own. So we know what Lolita is about. Lolita is about a young girl and this man Herbert who he marries her mother just to get closer to her, and they have a relationship. He's a pedo, but like I said, certain perspectives are saying that he's something else. Like he looks at Lolita as some other long love that he had that didn't work out, or she passed away, or I don't know. But like I said, I want to read it for myself, and it's a must read for me this year. And this was like a secondhand copy. I'm not a fan of the cover, but it is what it is. I'd rather have that cover than a girl with like a lollipop in her hand and her feet sticking up in the air. Next we have Just Kids by Patti Smith. This is another one I purchased 2 years ago. Okay, and I have to read it this year. So this is a memoir. See, I got it from Bert's Books. This was not a secondhand purchase. This was brand new. And I remember because I purchased that. There's a vlog when I made this purchase, and I also bought this book called Strange Weather in Tokyo by Hiromi Kawakami, and I did a reading vlog on this if you're interested. I love this book. This was so good. This was such a good read. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna read that this year. So it's a memoir. So let's read the jacket. Blurred by Joan Didion. This book is so honest and pure as to count as a true rapture. It was the summer Coltrane died. Oh, I remember reading this. This was a part of one of the books that I was supposed to read in 2023, child. I remember. Yeah, I was supposed to read this in 2023. But we're gonna read it this year because this is our must read. Okay. It was the summer Coltrane died. Like, y'all just don't understand. I love John Coltrane. I know his stuff like I know Beyonce, Rihanna. You know, I know his stuff when it comes on in a restaurant or in a movie. I know it's John Coltrane. But okay, enough of that. It was the summer Coltrane died. The summer of love and riots, and the summer when a chance encounter in Brooklyn led two young people on a path of art, devotion, and intonation. Patti Smith would evolve as a poet and performer, and Robert Mapplethorpe would direct his highly provocative style toward photography. Bound in innocence and enthusiasm, they traversed the city from Coney Island to 42nd Street, and in 1969, the pair set up camp at the infamous Hotel Chelsea. It was a time of heightened awareness when the worlds of poetry, rock and roll, art, and sexual politics were colliding and exploding. In this milieu, fueled by their mutual dreams and drives, they would prod and provide for one another during the hungry years. Just Kids begins as a love story and ends as an elegy. It serves as a salute to New York City during the late 60s and 70s, and to its rich and poor, its hustlers and hellions. A true fable, it is a portrait of two young artists' ascent, a prelude to fame. Yep, how pretty, how cool. So yeah. We're going to be reading this year because I bought it and I need to read it. Okay. Next we have After Leaving Mr. Mackenzie by Jean Rhys, the author of Why Sargasso Sea. One of my favorite booktubers, Sunbeam's Jess, talks about how Why Sargasso Sea is one of her favorite books. So I found this book just looking around. Like when I go to secondhand bookstores, it's not that I'm looking for anything in particular. 90% of the time I'm just there to partake in the goodness that is books, just to vibe out, you know, just to see what good stuff they have in there, just to be, you know, I'm just there just to be. And I just was reading through some of I was in the classics section, and I saw this jacket, and it just said, after leaving Mr. McKenzie. I found it interesting, and it was a part of Norton, which I have a lot of Norton anthologies from when I was in college, and I pulled it out and look at the cover. Oops, look at the cover. What? That's a lot going on in that cover. So I said, let me read this on the back. So let's read what the back says, and I was intrigued. So Julia Martin is in Paris at the end of her rope. Once beautiful, she was taken care of by men. Now, after being dropped by her latest lover, Mr. Mackenzie, Julia is running out of luck and chances. Visiting London to see her ailing mother, she meets up with her distrustful sister Nora after a long absence. With the immense subtlety of understanding and careful precision of language we expect of Jean Rhys, here is a haunting picture of two desperate women in a desperate predicament. A masterful and terrifying tale from one of the truest voices in 20th century fiction. So Jean Rhys is from the West Indies, and this book was published in 1931, I think, originally. Let's see. Yep, 1931. And I'm honestly excited. I'm excited to read it. I love diving into older classic literature, just because I like to look at the parallels that were of those times and that are the times now. And I truly read for a relationship, and I read for dialogue from the old and the new. That's one reason why I read. And I'm excited. And one of the last books that I'm going to most definitely read, and I'm thinking about throwing these in once a month. Is there any Black authors that I put here? No, because I'm going to read a whole list of Black authors in February. But we're going to do Charles Frazier's Cold Mountain. Yeah, so I know it was a terrible movie to everybody, but for me, Cold Mountain was one of the most beautiful movies I'd ever experienced, aside from Pride and Prejudice. As far as the story, it wasn't the cinematography, it wasn't the actors and actresses, although some of my favorite actresses are in that movie: Nicole Kidman, Renee Zellweger. I liked the story of Edmund and how he traveled through hell and high water to make it back to his love. And what is her name? I don't know her name, but baby, Edmund, I had the biggest crush on Edmund. And look, it's a book with a map. Cersei has a map too. So if you don't know, Cold Mountain is like an Odyssey tale. Edmund is Odysseus in this novel, and he is off to the war. He's in World War I. And let me just do my due diligence and read the dust jacket for you. Cold Mountain is an extraordinary novel about a soldier's perilous journey back to his beloved at the end of Civil War. At once a magnificent love story and a harrowing account of one man's long walk home, Cold Mountain introduces a stunning new talent in American literature. Based on local history and family stories passed down by the author's great-great-grandfather, Cold Mountain is the tale of a wounded soldier, Edmund, who walks away from the ravages of the war and back home to his pre-war sweetheart, Ada. Edmund's odyssey through the devastated landscape of the soon-to-be defeated South interweaves with Ada's struggle to revive her father's farm. With the help of an intrepid young drifter named Ruby, that's Renee's character in the movie, superb. I think she won an Oscar for her role. As their long-separated lives begin to coverage at the close of the war, Edmund and Ada confront the vastly transformed world they've been delivered. Charles Frazier reveals marked insight into man's relationship to the land and the dangers of solitude. He also shares with the great 19th century novelist a keen observation of a society undergoing change. Cold Mountain recreates a world gone by that speaks eloquently to our time. So yeah, I have to read this. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about every single last book on this list. First of all, I'm going to do how my year is shaping up in reading so far, because it's already off to a magnificent start. But on top of that, these books are going to be like, girl, these are some good books I have here. And I know, and you can go ahead and tell me too. You can tell me in the comments, but I already know that these are some amazing books that I have to get through this year. And you can't say, I think they're all gonna be 5-star, honestly. I'm trying to do like a little, hold on. Oh gosh, here they are. Okay, here we go. That is all I have for this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and also comment some of your must reads in the comment section below. I mean, you can comment some of the reads that you just want to get to, but if you just got a couple of must reads, go ahead and comment those below so I can add them to my TBR, and we can chat about these things in the comment section. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next upload. Deuces.